Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is December 11th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You got the Hawaiian Islands to the bottom left. Here we go at the state of California that I'm circling. We've got our next system on its way here, and this is going to start to bring some rain to the state of California and down towards the Bay Area, some of the Central Coast. And some of the models are showing a little bit of precipitation being teased out even across Southern California. And then there's another system after that that will be impacting some of the state. And we'll go over that in some detail here as we go through the video this morning. Taking a look here, you can kind of see the fog across the San Joaquin Valley up towards Sacramento, past Stockton and whatnot. So there is some fog out there. Some of the high clouds sometimes can retard some of the fog progress. But it's still out there for some locations, so do be careful for that. But as you can see, as the sun rises across the region, we do have our next system on the way, kind of ominous looking off to the northwest. You see the Bay Area right here. This is the Malibu fire out there, close to 4,000 acres. You can see where the burn area is. There is still red flag warnings going on, still a particularly dangerous situation, so don't let your guard down just yet. But the good news is that we will be putting an end to those offshore winds as we go through the day today. This is still only about 10% contained, if I understand. Actually, it looks like 7% contained as of last update. And you can see we've got Los Angeles, still some air quality alerts out there, and the red flag warning still is in effect. And they still have some pretty dire wording. This was put out yesterday, but it does go on in through 6 p.m. That is today, Wednesday, December 11th. And now, taking a look here yesterday, I wanted to point this out. Look at, there's Escondido right here, and there's Oceanside. You can see we had a 74 mile per hour gust there off across areas just to the east there. And you can see we had a 71 mile per hour gust there east, 5 east of Alpine, looks like. So yeah, had some pretty intense winds out there yesterday, but those are on the wane, and we're going to flip the wind direction. And actually, it's going to become fairly windy out of the west. I'll show you that here in a bit in the weather models. Dry conditions today also is going to be changing. We're going to moisten things back up for the most part as we get that wind shift here across the region. Now, we have some active weather incoming. This is Sacramento National Weather Service. You can see Thursday, Friday. You can see the precipitation, some valley rain, and some mountain snow. More on that here in a moment. And starting with the winter weather advisory, look at this, 5 to 12 inches above 5,000 feet. So that is going to include a lot of the pass areas back and forth. And wind gusts of 35, heaviest snowfall expected Thursday morning. And the winds are even going to be roaring a bit higher across some of the exposed ridges and the higher terrain. So this is 10 p.m. Wednesday to 4 p.m. on Thursday for the initial storm system, but we have additional storms on the way. Taking a look at the rainy week ahead. Look at the first system here, San Francisco, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And then the second system has the potential to be even rainier. Look at that on top of that, another inch, inch and a half for the Bay Area, and a higher amount. So you get Cloverdale, 2 to 3 inches. I'll show you the models on that here in a moment. And for Eureka, California, they did a nice graphic here where they included a lot of the mountain passes here, and they show the snowfall forecast as we go through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. See most of that snowfall occurring on the day Friday and wrapping up on early Saturday morning here. But, you know, follow those chain laws, check before you go. And this was updated this morning about 3:30 a.m. Check out the Eureka National Weather Service page if you want to be more updated on that. So looking at relative humidity right now, you can see we are still fairly dry, pretty typical for the desert areas, but it's all the way out towards Southern California. You still see the offshore winds a bit as we go through the day today. But as we go through this evening, we are going to start to switch things up. And tomorrow morning, you can see the westerlies return and the moisture coming back into the region here. It even gets out into some of the desert areas. But yeah, we're going to have some strong westerly winds, a big wind shift coming up here. And then we get the frontal systems will be moving through as well. And now, taking a look at the 80-meter wind speed. So again, I'm showing you the offshore winds right now as we go through this morning, but they really start to weaken as we go through this afternoon. And by this evening, they're going to be completely, actually by tonight, they'll be completely gone. But you can see the southerly, southwesterly winds rushing across the Sierra Nevada with the arrival of the frontal system. And look at these winds really pick up as we go through Thursday afternoon for, you know, places like Tehachapi and some of the higher terrain, the Peninsula Range down into Baja. And look at the desert areas right out of the west here. So not truly a crosswind for a lot of the interstates out there, but still, this is going to be some gusty wind. It's going to reverse directions out there, so it could be some blowing dust and whatnot. And then we have additional systems. As you can see, we're going to have some blustery conditions along the north portion of California and down towards the Bay Area at times as well. Looking at accumulated 10-meter max wind gusts, I'm going to put this into motion, and you will see that we have some of these stronger winds coming for the Sierra Nevada. And if I back that up, these start really on the day tomorrow. Actually, this is late tonight where the winds start picking up. Sorry about that. And as we go through Thursday morning, the winds will be roaring again across some of the higher terrain. I saw in that wind advisory, they only had 35 miles per hour, but definitely some higher gusts for the higher terrain there. And you can see some blustery winds down the coastline and some of the higher terrain. Look at this out across the desert areas, up over 50 miles per hour as well. Now, taking a look at precipitation and arrival time, North American high resolution model. Here we go on in through the day today. You can see precipitation starting. Some snow for the higher terrain starts as we go through Thursday morning. And you can see all the way down through the central coastlines precipitation. And the North American model does tease out a little bit of precipitation for Southern California. Maybe the higher terrain, a little bit better chances there. But that's a nice run of snowfall for a lot of the Sierra Nevada. And then the next system starts to arrive as we go through the day Friday. Also, again, more on that here starting in a bit. Look at the HRRR, high resolution model, just kind of timing out this system, and you can see the precipitation arrive as we go through tonight. There's Thursday morning, some moderate rain for the Bay Area, maybe Sacramento. The snowfall will be flying as we go towards tomorrow morning all the way down the Sierra Nevada, and it does tease out a bit here across Southern California. It's not much, but you might notice it in a few sprinkles, a couple showers out there. You know, it could be worse, right? At least we're getting rid of those offshore winds and extremely dry conditions and the dangerous fire weather. Looking at the European as of last night, so wider view of things here. There's the state of California, Hawaiian Islands, bottom left. There goes our next frontal system. And it's going to be, again, rolling in here as we go through tonight and on in through Thursday. That is the initial system there. The European teases out a little bit of precipitation across Southern California, but of course the bigger amounts across some of the northern portions of San Joaquin Valley, Sacramento Valley, coastal areas, and the higher terrain. Then the stronger storm arrives as we go through the day Friday. Look at this pretty robust low pressure center here off the Pacific Northwest, spreading some heavy precipitation at times into Northern California, and this is going to bring quite a rainy day as we go through a Saturday here for a lot of the Bay Area, Central Coast, and yeah, then that storm system will swing through. And it looks like we got one more to go as we go through the early portion of the following week, but we're starting to look a bit far out in the forecast, and we'll be updating on that frontal system here as we go through next week. It looks like it's decaying as it arrives, but again, we'll revisit that. Total precipitation in inches, we can scroll through this fairly rapidly, but here is the first system. You can see up over half an inch for the Bay Area here, and a lot of the coastal areas getting up over an inch, maybe towards an inch and a half. And again, just a little bit here. Just like to mention it here because we did just go through such extreme fire weather here across Southern California. So this will be a nice switch. Things will moisten up. And then we go through the day Friday and the additional rainfall starts rolling in here. There is an excessive rainfall outlook for some portions. I'll show you that here in a moment. But then another rainy day here for the Bay Area as we go through Saturday, as I mentioned. And yeah, it starts to make its way down the Central Coast. Some places getting up over an inch, inch and a half. Now, this is day 3 rainfall outlook, just kind of across Northwest California, Southwest Oregon. But, you know, we did receive some heavy rainfall earlier this month. We have had time to dry out a bit here, but that is there. And for day 4, something similar. It extends down into some of the foothills of the Sierra Nevada and maybe down towards the Bay Area. We'll see if that changes as well. Now, if we take a look at the 24-hour snow-Kuchera ratio, so as we go through Friday morning here, this is very early Friday morning, or this is late Thursday night right here, and you can see that we do get a nice round of snowfall there. Then we wait for the next system to roll in here, and probably even a bit of a better snowmaker here for the Sierra Nevada. This will be wrapping things up very early on Sunday morning, and then maybe another shot of some snow for some of the higher terrain, mainly Northern California, as we go through the early portion of next week. And this would be total snowfall throughout the period. This goes through Monday night. But yeah, it's some wintry weather here. It's nice to see it. We're getting some systems, and I'm just kind of counting the days down and just looking off into the extended forecast to see when we get a decent storm system here for Southern California. It's been a while, admittedly. And if we take a look here, this is looking at snow water equivalent. We're still early in the year, and I'll show you that here. We're right there. So you can see that, you know, as we go on in through, you know, March and on in through April, we can continue to build that snowpack. We usually peak out right about there, mid-March or so. So yeah, we are still in the early stages here, but hopefully we can continue to build the snowpack out there. But yeah, anyway, glad to see the fire danger will be wrapping up, but again, don't let your guard down. Still fairly dry and some dangerous conditions out there today, but we're going to have big wind shift come through here as we go through the day tomorrow. That'll moisten things up like I mentioned, and we got multiple systems rolling through here. So anyway, hope you guys are liking the channel. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.